At Wrights Enterprise, our slogan is Dreams on Wheels. Let us customize a trailer to accommodate your business's needs, from clothing and apparel, shoes and accessories, to hair and nails. We are the perfect choice for your mobile business. Contact 646-8464 for more info and follow us on IG at Wrights_Enterprise242.
Good evening, Unique Couples community. We are live.
Yes, we are. And we are so excited today because it's Couples Conversation. And we are going to be talking about those marriage killers. So join us. If you have not already told someone to be here, go ahead and invite them to join us live. Subscribe to our Unique Couples YouTube channel and click that notification bell so that you can get notices of when we go live and you don't miss a thing. Yes. So we're excited to have our special guests.
Yes, we have special guests in the house, Casey and Altamarae Elvies. They are here in Freeport, Grand Bahama, in the Bahamas. And we have Herb and Melissa Ford, who's with us. And they are in Lima, Ohio. We want to welcome them on this evening as we get into our topic, marriage killers.
Yeah, so we usually would see couples who probably look like they're having a great relationship, and then maybe a few years later we see that they're apart, or they might have gotten a divorce, or we see couples who are struggling, and we're trying to figure out what's happening, what went wrong, because everyone is excited and happy during probably when they got married or during the 2 years, and then what went wrong, what really caused this marriage to be destroyed. And so we want to look at some of those marriage killers as we talk today. So we're happy that our guests are here so that they can go ahead and share with our Unique Couples community. And so we'll invite them to say hello, introduce themselves.
Hey there, guys. Good to be back with the Unique Couples platform and programs and all the different things. You guys do so much. I have my lovely wife, Melissa, and we are so glad to be with you guys. We just celebrated a week ago, and thank you guys for the shout out, our 26th wedding anniversary. So it is tremendous. We have been doing this thing a while. I think we've been together almost 29, it's been 29 years that we've been together, but 26 of them as we have been married. So we are so glad to be with you guys here all the way up in Lima, Ohio. Say hi.
Hello. Yes, thank you, Linda and Vito, for giving us this opportunity to be a part of your life today. Unique Couples, you guys are doing awesome things. You're doing wonderful things. You're helping enhance marriage. I even believe that you're helping to save some marriages out there. So I really believe in your ministry, and I believe that God is doing great things through you guys. My name is Casey Elvies, and this is my lovely wife, Altamarae Elvies, a affectionately known as Tammy. We've been together for 16 years now. We've been married for 11 years, and we're enjoying every bit of it. We're learning, we're growing, and God has indeed been good to each and every one of us. So I'm hoping that we could share some things that maybe some things you already know, may be new to some of you guys, but whatever it is, I hope it helps you guys in your marriage out there. Thank you.
Awesome. We saw some comments coming in. Some of the persons who are watching and are ready, they were anticipating this discussion. Yeah, so I know you guys are going to deliver and definitely bring it home for the community. Once again, we want to say, hey, if you have not yet and liked this video, go ahead and like, subscribe. Tell us where you are watching from in the chat. Go ahead. Hashtag live squad, hashtag replay. For those of you who catch the replay, you can go ahead and do that. Let us know where you're watching from and how long you have been married. So go in the chat, type that. We are live here on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitter on Unique Couples. And we just want to share. Thanks so much, Casey and Tammy and Herb and Melissa for joining us today and just sewing in with, you know, what we're doing here with building stronger couples, healthier marriages, and happier families. So let's get down to it.
Yes, before you get started, I see Kimberly from Michigan is saying hello.
Those are our friends.
And Kimberly.
Those are our friends. We're so
Yay.
Awesome.
Michigan in the house. Let's see. Is the 242 here? Where are you from? Yeah. I see 242 represented. Definitely.
Julie and Gia is in the house.
And Fox Lady is
Fox Lady is in the house.
Yes, go ahead, put where you're watching from so we can have those places represented. I think we got some new places. I don't know if it's new, but it just seems like it's new because yeah. So we had New Zealand, we had Ireland. Yeah. So we had some places all over the world joining and people from all over the world joining. We're happy about that. So go ahead, put it in the chat, put your country's flag. Let us know where you're watching from. How long have you been married? Type that in the chat. Yes. Okay. So we're talking about marriage killers. When we think about couples, marriages, and, you know, first we're happy and then something happens in between that. And then we see couples splitting up. What would you say are some of the biggest marriage killers from which you've been, Herb, those have been married for
26 years.
26 years. And then we have Casey and Altamarae with their experiences as well. What are some of the biggest marriage killers you have noticed? We're going to talk about that. And then we're going to look at some that affect women compared to men, right? And see if we could kind of like give them some quick solutions for that. So we'll go ahead and invite Casey and Altamarae to go ahead and give us one or two.
Well, thank you again, Linda. Well, let's just take the bull by the horn and get started. One of the biggest marriage killers that I see is infidelity. Infidelity is one of the biggest, and in most cases, as far as divorce, that's one of the main causes. So I would say infidelity.
Yeah, and you know, people look at it as the only reason God gave or the Bible gave for divorce. So automatically, people think, okay, there's infidelity, so let's end the marriage. Not trying to work through it because now they have a reason. This is the only reason that was given in the Bible. You can also look at jealousy. Jealousy is something that can really take a toll on marriages, because if there is jealousy, more than likely there's not going to be any trust, because you know you're constantly overprotective, or you're constantly checking on where your spouse is, what it is that they're doing, who they're talking to, not giving them any breathing room because there is jealousy, and you're trying to kind of keep them to yourself because you have that jealous spirit.
Yeah. and you know, we tend to forget that it was never really God's plan for us to get a divorce, you know, but it's because of our sinful nature, and it's because of our hearts that He said, you know what, this one thing, And sometimes it's almost like persons are waiting for it to happen because they're so tired and exhausted with what they're dealing with and they're going through. They say, okay, you messed up, I'm gone.
Yeah.
You know, but then when we look at our God relationship with us, he calls it a marriage, you know, and look how much times we mess up. Look how much times we go astray and we go wrong, you know, and he forgives us. And so he wants us to have that same attitude towards each other when we make mistakes. So that's something that caused a lot of issues, and I believe that reconciliation is something that really should be promoted. And Tammy talked about jealousy. Jealousy could be a serious thing in a relationship. You know, I've seen a lot of cases where persons in relationships are really jealous, so much so that they for example, a spouse goes out, they say, hey, listen, I'll go out for about 2 hours or so, and they're overprotective so much to the point where they're saying that, hey, listen, 2 hours passed, hey, where you at? What time you coming home? And it sort of kills the marriage. So you find them watching the other spouse while they're on the phone, wondering, hey, why are you on your phone so much? And the list goes on and on. You look at jealousy even with the spouse in the workplace. They may have, the wife may have a male comrade, you know, and the husband is jealous, a coworker, the husband is jealous of the male counterpart in that area. The husband may have a female co-worker and the wife is jealous of that. They say, who is this female? Who is she? Why is she smiling with you? Why is she so friendly with you? So all of these things can damage the marriage and cause issues with the marriage.
Yeah.
When I was thinking about something with that jealousy and you know, and all of that. And I think, you know, a lot of times what leads to some of the jealousy stuff, some of the infidelity stuff, you know, and those things really starts with a lack of intimacy. You know, when there's no true intimacy in the relationship, you really open the door for these, let me see your phone. Why? Because there's no trust. It opens the door for, you know, going outside of the house. Why? Because true intimacy is like, okay, what do you want to do? How do you want to be treated? How do you want to be loved? How do you want love made to you? Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, there's a number of things that I think you have to get to that point, or, you know, or that leads to, like what you said, that jealousy and that infidelity. And so I think that's really good.
Definitely big killers, jealousy, infidelity. And then when we look at
also trust as well.
Yeah. When we look at the reasons that some of the infidelity might occur, in terms of maybe needs not being met, not to say there's an excuse for infidelity, right? We're not saying there's an excuse, but everything has a recipe. There's a recipe. You don't just end up with a cake. You know, ingredients went into the making to cause that, you know, you have something in at the end. There was a process. So when we look at maybe some of the infidelity, for example, a man may feel as if his needs aren't being met, not just sexually, but even in terms of, you know, respect and all of that stuff. How do you kind of relate that to marriage killers, the things that will lead up to maybe the infidelity and the jealousy and you know, some of these things that definitely destroy marriages?
Yeah, I think, you know, when I look at something like that, hey, Pastor Duran, they're from Oklahoma, is there? Hey, man, I just think, sweetheart, a lot of times, you really have to not just get to know your spouse better, okay? But it does. I do think that a man really wants his wife to be his friend, you know, to really be close to him so that he can share whatever he needs to share with her. He can communicate with her. You know, if anybody is cheering him on, it's got to be her. You know, I mean, that's the, you know, and when a man doesn't feel that those things are going on, okay, I think men can start to you know, start to searching a little bit, start to looking, hey, you know, this person, you know, I once had, you know, and my wife probably knows, I once had a woman say, well, you know, I haven't met a man that, you know, that loves the Lord the way that you love the Lord. And man, it's just so amazing how you know, and if you're not strong spiritually, you know, you fought all that kind of stuff, because men, look, God loves praise and so do men, you know. So I think that some of that, and the men said, y'all
Men are silent, and the men said,
hey,
Amen.
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 But I think that kind of leads to those kind of things. What do you think?
Well, yeah, because I think, you know, what people have to understand is that intimacy isn't, again, it's not always just a physical sexual, because just conversations, spending time together, like I said, you know, encouragement, letting your husband or wife know, you know, the things that you need, the things that you want, and, you know, being able to share the most intimate times, just
And that you appreciate
cuddling.
them.
I mean, yeah, appreciation. There are lots of things that are intimate to where it's not just the big picture, it's the small things that, you know, oh yeah, you know, you surprise, I cooked you a really special meal on this day that you weren't expecting it. I mean, there are just the little things that you can just do to just show your appreciation, to show your respect, to honor each other, and things like that, which, you know, so that not having those things or putting those on the back burner is a lack of intimacy.
And you know what I'll say, you know, on that, Vito and Linda, one of the things that I looked up was, you know, how they say opposites attract. Okay. How they say, well, you know, you typically get a square with a circle, or you get, you know, whatever. Okay. Yeah. Different personality styles are attracted to different personality styles. But when I looked up, I did some research on this. When I looked up, like, when somebody is opposite, does it really mean that they're going to last longer? No, not really, because marriage is still in 50%, 52% divorce, you know, even in Christian marriages and stuff like that. It's not that. It's collaboration. It's collaboration. And so it's not that the personality was so great. It was the fact that there was great collaboration between those two personality styles. That, you know what, because like if there's anything about me and Melissa that's true, if anybody can see on the outside, we a team. Ain't that right?
Yeah.
We a team. You know what I'm saying? So
and we're very different.
Very different. But we a team. So, you know, we got kids that got to be certain places. We got jobs that got to be done. I got stuff in the house got to be done. She got to cook, clean. I mean, there's all kinds of different things that we have to do. But I think the thing that kills marriages is when you don't have that collab. You know what I'm saying? Well, like when there ain't no help, like, okay, well, how long is the light gonna stay blue out? Is it gonna be blue out like next week too? I mean, you know, just different things mean different things for different people. And so we ain't trying to take all the time, Casey. Y'all got something too, I'm sure.
No, definitely not, man. Definitely not. Just keep it coming. Keep it coming. And you are so right. And I believe a part of what you mentioned, I know it speaks directly to communication. You know, you have to communicate. There's nothing wrong with telling your spouse what you want. There's nothing wrong with telling your spouse what you expect. Don't expect them to be mind readers. All right. Don't expect them to, you know, pick up on it. You know, just get the point. No, it's good to have effective communication. Tell your spouse what you want. Tell your spouse what you expect. And I like how you talk about collaboration, because you have some persons who believe that, okay, that's the wife's job, that's the husband's job. No, the wife has to do this. No, the husband has to do that. We have different jobs. We work different times. We have kids involved. There's so much little small parts being played that you sometimes have to fill in. And it may be, well, you know, this morning I may be working a certain shift because I'm a police officer, so I work different shifts. So maybe my wife one morning may have to throw the garbage. You know, maybe I may be home. Maybe I might come home at a certain time, and she's at work, and I may have to cook. I have no problems doing that. The only bad thing about that is now my wife feels that I could cook better than her. So now.
Oh,
You know, she anticipates, like, when I'm home, she's like, okay, now I know I'm going home to some good cooking. You know, but yeah, sometimes you have to fill in, you have to do some things, you know, just so that everything goes smooth. One partner is not stressed out, one partner is not feeling all the burden, and you just gel.
Yeah.
and I don't do
And
enough. I don't do enough. I'm gonna Tommy, I'm gonna let you go on and go, you know, but I don't do enough. I need to do more. But keep on going. I'm telling on myself.
So this is
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Tommy.
Go ahead, Tammy.
Okay, now I saying communication is not just about, you know, giving your expectations and all of that. It's also talking about when things aren't going right. It's also talking about when you have discrepancies, when you have an argument, or if you have something that you two aren't seeing eye to eye with. So many couples, they just go through and not deal with their issues or deal with whatever concerns that they're having. And what happens is you have that silent treatment come in. This one is not talking to this one because they did something. Mind you, the spouse may not even know that they did something wrong, but because you feel a certain way, you decide, okay, I'm not saying anything. I'm just gonna not talk. I'm gonna hold out in the bedroom.
The devil is a lie. The devil is a lie.
And what happens? It just continues to grow and grow because there is no communication there. The problems aren't being resolved, and problems are resolved by communicating, by talking about it.
Casey and Tommy, I'll say this. This is a little asterisk to what you guys said, and I know, I know this is big, but it's not just a lack of communication, but bad communication. You understand what I'm saying? The wrong kind of, you know, because communication is a two-way street. It's speaking, it's hearing, it's nonverbal communication. It's, you know, all of it. It's nonverbal a lot of times more than it is verbal, because y'all know them looks, don't y'all? You know, I mean, you know, when stuff ain't like, what was that about? I mean, all of that, the tone, pitch, oh my God. And you know, because you can tell something wrong when you communicating, when you get it a certain way back to you. You know how to give it, but I'm talking about when it comes back to you, it's got a little pressed down, shaking together, running over on it. You know, we said this before when we were on here, that you want to, you know, the Bible says it's better to dwell on a rooftop with a brawling woman than in a house. No, on the rooftop. Let me tell you what, women are receptors, okay, and men are projectors. So you want to see some mess? Give her some press. Give her a little bit of mess. Man, she can press down, shake it together, run it over, and give it back to you. You know what I'm saying? All the way full mature and give you hell. I mean, you know, so I think it's important, like bad communication. You know, if you sow, you ain't gonna be nothing. I hate you. I know a lot of people that call their spouses bees and stuff like that. I'm just being honest with you. You know, but just, you know, when you say these things, when you declare these things, when you speak these things over your family and say, I hate you, or I can't stand you, always do all that kind of stuff. That's bad. That's not lack of communication. That's bad communication right there. And I think that those are killers for people's marriages.
Awesome. Good stuff, Herb and Melissa, Casey and Tommy. And I hope our viewing audience are taking notes. They talk about collaboration. They talk about how important it is to have that effective communication. And then you heard it. Bad communication can lead to a lot of problems. For those of you that are watching, you want to go ahead and type in your questions in the chat. We will have questions at the end. So go ahead and type in your questions so we can have them answered by Herb and Melissa or Casey and Tammy. Also, for those of you that are watching us for the first time, if you haven't subscribed to the Unique Couples YouTube channel, you want to go ahead and subscribe to the Unique Couples YouTube channel. Go ahead and click that notification bell. And every time we go live, you will be notified. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the Unique Couples YouTube channel. Today, we have special guests, Herb and Melissa Ford, along with Casey and Altamarae Elvies. And we are talking on the topic, marriage killers.
Yes, and so much has been going on. We're trying to keep up with putting in the information in the chat. Go ahead and type those comments in as well, because you're just just coming in so much, and I really have to go back to what Melissa was saying about some of the things that happened. It was just like, just so much in that mouthful with how husbands relate to wives and the things that they say and the things that, just those little things that happen that will add up, not helping or not being supportive or being disrespectful. All of those things will be those little things that will add up to lead to these marriage killers. And instead of maybe a couple or one of the partners helping their partner, they are basically doing the opposite. So it's good to know about the marriage killers because, hey, we want to move away from these. We don't want this as a part of our relationships. You don't want this as a part of your marriage. So these are the things that you need to move away from. Herb talked about, some people calling their wives the B word, and, just a little disrespect in how you speak and the tune. All of these things add up over time. And we want to say, guess what? There is help for that. Okay. So if you have not registered, if you have not been a part of our Unique Couples Marriage Club, make sure you go ahead and join. We are talking about some of these same things where we're building on communication, we're building on trust and relationship. When we look at different relationships, we're looking at making your spouse your best friend, because that is important, right? Increasing the level of intimacy, friendship. And then, of course, we can't forget about the date night. So, and we actually have one coming up tomorrow. And so we're inviting our couples to be a part of that. But it's just so easy to get caught up in doing all of these things that kill your marriage. But it's easy not to as well. So it's easy to do, easy not to do. Sometimes we get caught up in doing all the wrong things, but we could get caught up in doing the right things. Okay. So we're so happy to have you guys joining and talking about these marriage killers. Are there any of the marriage killers that are specific to like gender related that women would do more of compared to men, or men would do more of compared to women, which will destroy their relationship?
I think sometimes when we look at this, obviously, we love the book Love and Respect, but I think that that repeated disrespect is probably can probably come on the female side, I would think. What do you think, or no?
Possibly.
You think it's more both ways?
I mean, a lot of things are, but I think it depends on, because you have.
Because women don't just.
It's stereotypical, where, women have a way of saying things that can come off disrespectful. And I think when you talk about disrespect, it may, from a man, it's more of a, where you don't, belittling maybe. That kind of a thing. And so, well, yeah, most things are probably both ways, but I do think women can be looked at as being disrespectful to their spouse if they don't know how to talk about them talk to them when just kind of in general, or just having a disrespectful attitude. Mm-hmm. Is that kind of where you were?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I don't know, but I think that's the one that I can think of that can come across that way. So
I know it's always said, and I'm not sure exactly if this is true or not, but the communication with men, it's always said that men don't express themselves as readily as women do. So you may see the disrespect coming because women are going to express themselves regardless of how it comes out sometimes. But men usually internalize what's going on, and that leads to the lack of communication in solving issues. And it also leads to issues not being solved because they're not talking about it. And I always say, I'm the principal of a school, and I always tell parents when they come in to express their concerns, I cannot fix an issue if I don't know that there is an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing with marriage. It's the same thing if you don't, if the other spouse does not know that you have a concern, if they don't know that you have an issue, how are they going to help to or work with you to get the problem fixed? If you're constantly, okay, she's not doing this, or she doesn't make me feel this way, or she doesn't support me, but you're not saying it to her, she believes that she's doing what, you know, she's supposed to be doing, and you're internalizing, and, you know, you're just assuming. Assumption is something that we definitely don't want to have in our marriages, because it is a killer. When you're assuming that somebody's supposed to be doing something, or you're assuming that somebody's supposed to know something, or they should know this already because we've been married for so long, or they should do this because they know that this is what I want. Yes, after you've been married or you've been together for so long, you know your spouse to a certain extent. But then, as Casey said earlier, we cannot be mind readers, and we don't want to have those assumptions because they lead to that place where we don't want to be.
Okay, or I'm unmuted. Okay, good. Melissa had one as well. There's more men probably.
I mean, I think, which is, we haven't really hit on this as far as a marriage killer, but it's definitely a marriage killer, and that would be any type of physical, verbal, or emotional abuse. Yes, oftentimes it's I've seen women who abuse men, but the majority is probably men abusing women. And that's definitely probably more the physical. And that is definitely a marriage killer. When you're inappropriately putting your hands on your wife, or even verbal or emotional abuse, that kind of goes on in a marriage.
Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes what that is it's when it's almost like, for example, I don't want to put it this way, but do you remember the Bible talks about how Moses, he was called to do something, but he actually, and that was to deliver, the children of Israel, but he actually tried to do it with his hand. Do you understand what I'm saying? He tried to do it with his hand and ended up killing a man. All right. When the Lord wanted to do it with his mouth, the Lord wanted to do it a different way. He wanted to show him how to do it. And I think sometimes a man can be crying for respect and or honor, is what the Bible calls it. Okay. He can be because men naturally will honor, a lot of times they just will, where women will naturally love. They will naturally love. You don't have to teach a woman really to love. I mean, but you do have to teach a man that sometimes, but men, they'll go, yes, sir. They'll move out of the way, give people space, be quiet so somebody else can. I mean, that's just a normal thing that men will do, where on the other side, women don't necessarily do that. Not saying that they can't, but I'm just saying they don't normally do that. It's just like, this is what it is. Boom, boom. It's like, hold that, kind of a deal. It's just that way. My wife is a quiet woman, but she has an opinion. I will tell y'all that right now. So
that is really something else. And I think even as women, we have to, as wives, we have to be more mindful and careful with that same thing. That's like the tongue, with that disrespect. And it's just so natural for us to just say and just outburst and say anything that comes to mind, and not really be concerned about how it hurts or how it is being said or how it will be interpreted. And that could be a real troubling marriage killer, because you're doing that to a man, and he is used to giving out respect and receiving it, and you're doing that. It's like you're chopping him down, right? And so I think that is definitely a big marriage killer when we look at relationships, and that's something that women really need to be mindful of. That what you say, how you say it, and what you're implying when you speak to your husband, when you're communicating verbally and non-verbally. that is a big issue, because you can't get him to love you if you don't respect him. So, and you also mentioned, Melissa, the physical, verbal, and emotional abuse. Both ways, right? Going both ways. Definitely big marriage killers. What about in-laws? Any problems with that? Do you think those are things that will be a area that brings contention to marriages?
In-laws,
Yeah, I mean, I think that is definitely, depending on how involved your in-laws are, with the marriage and whatnot, because some people have their spouses living. I mean, they in-laws living with them and all kinds of different things. But I was speaking, I think we were speaking along the lines of gender-based, you know what I'm saying, versus the other ones. But I mean, I think in-laws can be, especially because everything is connected to boundaries. You know what I'm saying? So if you have boundaries in that particular deal, because I think we said this before, like if we get into an issue and she goes back to her mama and say, oh, well, yeah, that man, he did this or he did that, and I can't stand that, whatever. And then we didn't made up, but mama don't know we made up. And so next time mama talk, it's like, yeah, you still on that, raggedy man and all that kind of crazy stuff. So I think that it's I definitely think that side of in-laws, I don't know.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's basically what I was thinking too. You may have that wife who may go to her mother or her sisters, and then you may have that husband who may go to his friends, and they may speak with them concerning their matters, as opposed to coming together and speaking with each other. And the issue there would be the in-laws and the friends not being as forgiving as you are. So when you would have already made amends with your spouse, and when you would have already forgiven your spouse, the friends and the in-laws, they are still feeling some way about what's going on with your marriage. So that's something that we must be careful of. And I heard you mention earlier, and I was going to touch on it a bit, when you talked about Moses, and the story that came to mind was when God spoke to him and told him to speak to the rock. And what he did, he went and he struck the rock, because he was frustrated and he was angry. All right, he was fed up and tired of the people, and that's sometimes when we allow issues to go on with unresolved. That's what happens with us. We get so frustrated, we get to the point where we have to hit something, we have to break something, we have to scream, we have to we have to do something. We have to deal with our emotion. We have to get it out, and sometimes, unfortunately, it results in a man hitting a woman.
Isn't that crazy? Something? Isn't that crazy how closely, Casey, that is related to disrespect, though? You know what I'm saying? Like Moses was mad about when people, they were disrespecting God. They were disrespecting the call. He was mad at the man because the man had hurt or killed one of the Israelites, or he saw somebody beating them. Okay, that's disrespectful. And he's trying to act out through his hand what the Lord wanted to do for an entire nation, but he tried to act it out in his hand because he was so upset.
Right. So true.
I think the other thing I was going to bring up, guys, as far as like marriage killers and that kind of thing, is and this is a big one. This is a very, very big one. Bad financial practices. If you want to see something, I mean, that's why your boy Nathaniel Butler, or what was it? Yeah, Nate would be a great guy on that financial deal. But I will tell you, bad financial practices, I have seen that just burn through marriages. The wife got the credit card, she doing what she want to do, husband don't know what he doing, can't nobody count, ain't nobody keeping receipts, bills due, late fees, figuring out, well, you factor in late fees in because you just won't pay your bills. talk, everybody eating out every day, just bad financial practices, no plan. And I think that's a big marriage killer.
Definitely. I am a big fan of A&E. I watch a lot of murder documentaries, real life ones, and that is literally a marriage.
Every forensic files that has ever been shot has been watched by this. She actually has a criminal justice degree, was the chief probation.
Oh.
So crime, I get it. It's money.
Yes. And when you watch those and you see the reason why women decide, when you watch Snapped and you see the reason, majority of the reason, the shows, the reason why the woman kills the man or gets him killed is because of finance. Either she wants more money or he wasn't providing and she needed to get that insurance. So finance is definitely an issue. And it's something where the couple, they have to sit. You have to determine what it is that you're going to spend on, what it is that what is important. At the beginning of our marriage, I'm the one who deals with the money in the marriage.
So she can't blame me for nothing.
I know anytime he gets money in his hand, it's gone. It's gone. So because he knows that, I deal with it. So once he gets, I get both paychecks basically, and I give him a little stipend at the end, just to make sure he has something.
You gotta lay hands on it. Whatever you got to do, get control of that money. You hear me? You got to get that money because let me tell you what. If you don't count it up right,
exactly.
Because if it's not there when you go looking for it, and
that's another problem. That's another problem.
And where we kind of established that early. I mean, I do the bills and things like that, but like, for example, you don't want to have to live in a control of someone else. So like, obviously, if I want to go buy something, no big deal. I can go out to eat if I want to without having to call anybody, but there's a certain limit to where, okay, I'm thinking about buying something that costs $150. What do you think? I don't, yes, the $5 meals can add up to a lot, but at some point you got to figure out and say, okay, you know what? We're eating out too much. So it ain't like every day I gotta, hey, I want to go out to eat. Hey, I want to, buy the kids a shirt. It's not like, but big purchases or at a certain dollar amount, that's when we have to start collaborating and not just going out and just.
Or you chasing a dream. You know what I'm talking about? One of my dream chases. I love my dream chases. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm gonna go on and do this, and I'm gonna go on and do that, and in a few years we go all that kind of stuff. I love all that. But let me tell you something, brother. Okay, let me tell you something, brother. Make sure you got a job that's paying you regular money, okay, which is great. Have that. And then after that, okay, look at streams of income, okay? Oh, I got an additional stream, I'll do this too, and I do this too, and I do all that, but have something regular. Why? Because a woman will marry a man that's straight commission, but she would love a man with a salary. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So that's
awesome.
And the church said what?
Amen.
And it even with the finance, it even goes a bit deeper than that, because now you looked at when the finances are not right, then there's a lot of things that's not right. You look at dealing with a stressful relationship. She's stressed out, he's stressed out, so now it's affecting the bedroom. And so now that intimacy because your mind is on where's the next dollar coming from, as opposed to making each other happy. And so now when she's stressed out and she's thinking about whether or not the next dollar is coming from, and I'm stressed out thinking where the next dollar is coming from, where do we come together? We're not interested in hugging up, and we're not interested in getting intimate because, hey, listen, we got to get our finances sorted out. So then you notice now a decline in other things. We're not as intimate as we used to be. The sex life is not what it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago. So you notice things start to change, and that fire starts to go dim.
Yeah. How do you all feel? I have spoken to a few women, and they believe that when they get married, their paycheck should be theirs, and the man should take care of the home, and the man should also give them, the husband should also give them money to take care of their nails and hair, but their money goes into the bank. Say, I've heard it.
My money is my money.
My money is my money. He got to take care of me.
I think that one is one. We're one. His is mine, mine is his. If I'm working, I'm going to share into the pot. Now, there have been times where, where it's like, okay, you know what, one day I'm going to make it. And see, what happens is once you do that, then you probably required to live off of 2 paychecks, which is fine if that's what you've chosen to do. Now, if I don't think it should be this is the way it is, but if he wants to be the provider and he says, you know what, whatever you do, you keep, that's different. And so I think as one, when we got married, we pretty much share everything. That's my thought.
Yeah, because we do half the house. You understand? We do half the house then, and then you get the little house instead of the house we living in now because we can do it together. But I do believe one is one. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We come together. There are people that definitely do that. And if you're financially astute enough and strong enough that you can do that, I think that's awesome.
And I know that people have marriages where they do have separate checking accounts and he'll pay the mortgage and she'll pay for this and things like that. It just didn't work that way. You know what? It works for some people, and we just never chose to do it that way.
Yeah, there you've heard it, folks. Finances, that's also a big marriage killer, and we can have a whole session just on finances. And just to mention, Nathaniel Butler from Druber Solutions. You want to make sure, if you haven't heard of him, you want to check him out. You want to follow him for all of your financial needs, all of your financial situations. He can help you out, because one of the things that they would have mentioned earlier, you have to have that budget as well, because if you don't have that budget, you won't know where that money is going. And then once you are married, your money, my money, it's all one,
Our money.
It's our money. You put it together, and you have to be on the same page. And that budget is important, because if you are living above your means, then you will have financial crisis, and there will be financial problems. Yeah. So for all of your financial concerns, needs, you want to check out Nathaniel Butler at Druber Solutions.
And I think one of the issues that couples face.
I was just going to say this. Have you guys seen, though, because you guys do this all the time. I mean, we just do this, sometimes, but y'all do this all the time. Have you guys seen this roar through and burn up marriages? The money part?
Say that again.
I was going to say, have you guys, because you guys do this so much, and actually you got your marriage club and that kind of thing, have you seen this financial thing go through and burn marriages up? I mean, just destroy them?
Oh, definitely. And I was going to say, it all starts with couples not having basically a vision of where they're going and what they're doing. And so for some couples, like we've known couples who they have that same mentality. Well, a particular couple, it was like, okay, he is making all of this money. So, it's fine that his wife is, she could just bank her salary and do whatever she wants with it because he is, making all the provisions. Okay. But eventually that doesn't last. And then what happens? You know what? I'm used to you taking care of all the bills and, me banking my salary. That marriage didn't last. You have persons who have been, done that and probably doing it successfully. The woman is making her money or probably even making more than her husband. And the husband is, I guess, still trying to be the provider, but she's making all of this money. So we've seen various different scenarios as it relates to finances. And one of the major things that would be an issue is when you don't have a couple's vision. You don't have a vision of where you're going as a family, as a couple, where you actually have that communication and you plan and you talk and you know that, hey, we have a vision for 10 years down the road and we're going to do this. We're going to accomplish this for our children. We want to do this for our children. We want to do this individually. We want to do this as a family. We want to do this. We have, maybe travel plans that we would want to do, or maybe some business we want to do together, or where do we see ourselves in our marriage, in terms of everything, where you're going to live, what you will be doing, the activities you'll be participating in, just life on a whole. And when couples do not have that, it's just so much easier to be planning separately. But you can't be planning separately and be two different people and then expect that you'll be stronger together. Okay, the strength comes in being united and, the unity, and you could decide, how you're going to split this money. And it's both of your money, you pool it, you'll go faster, further together, as opposed to trying to do it separately apart. So we've definitely seen that. And of course, we encourage couples to talk through their finances and what they're going to do. Is it going to be, our money? Or is it going to be, your money, her money, and then no honey? So that definitely affects the sex life as well. So that is definitely a big marriage killer. Money, sex, communication. We have talked about all of those. They are definitely big marriage killers.
Yes. And as we are about to bring this conversation to an end, are there any other marriage killers that we haven't mentioned that you guys want to touch on briefly? And also, what advice can you give to couples to avoid these marriage killers?
Well, I don't want to, get too religious here, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's important for both the husband and the wife to know the Lord. I mean, seriously, I've seen the situation where, the girl is, she just loves him so much. I just got to have that man, kind of a thing, and just willing to just, but I just got to have him. He's been to church a couple of times. I think it's important. I mean, this is a huge deal. And I'll put it this way, a marriage killer is when a person, when the relationship is not covered spiritually. I think that is a big marriage killer, because when a person doesn't, I have to love God more than I love her. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like I do. Why? Because I'm always not going to get it right. I got to have something higher, a higher authority. I told you guys before, one of my biggest problems 7 years into the marriage was bad communication. I wouldn't listen to what my wife was saying. I wasn't listening, and it took the Holy Spirit, my relationship with him, showed it to me, not her. Cause she could just keep saying one thing, I don't like the way you're talking to me. I don't like the way you're talking. I don't like, what do you mean talking to you? I don't feel like I'm disrespecting you, but at the same time, I think that when you don't have, in both, and I think both couples, it's not just the man, but both couples have to have a flourishing relationship with the Lord. Otherwise, man, you're just digging the grave, waiting on time, because it's coming.
Yeah, most definitely, and that is so true. That is so true. There must be a spiritual aspect to the relationship. We see that God is who instituted marriage. And so if God instituted marriage, then if there's any person that if the best person then who we should get advice from is God. And if he is showing us who he is through our relationship with him, then definitely we must have a relationship with him in love in order to show love to our spouses. So definitely the spiritual aspect is very important. And another thing I wanted to add to that, when we get married, we must expect and learn to adapt to change, because things will change. Don't go with the expectation that things will be the same from the first day we get married until, okay? The wedding is only one aspect of it, all right? It's not going to be a bed of roses for the next 10, 20, 25, 26, 30, for a lifetime. It's not going to be. So you have to learn to adapt to changes. There will be changes. And a lot of issues we have is because we expect for it to be good all the time, but then we don't expect change. So we're not prepared when there is change. And we talked about it already, communication. When those changes start to come, you have to communicate. You have to communicate. But like we said earlier, we must put God first in everything.
Yeah.
We must keep Christ center.
And as couples, as human beings, we are supposed to be growing every day. We're supposed to be changing every day. And if you get to the point where you're saying, oh, you're not the same person that I married, you shouldn't be the same person. There should be change. There should be growth from when you just got married, from you started dating until if you're 10, 11 years in, there should be change. I shouldn't be the same person I was 10 years, 11 years ago when we got married, because there should have been growth. There should be something that changed because we've been together for this amount of time and we've been growing in Christ. So the things that would have bothered us or would have been issues at the beginning, as we continue to do life together, then we should see change and be receptive to that change. And a lot of marriages are dead without even divorce. There are marriages that they're just together just because they don't want to feel that shame, or because they don't want persons to think about them a certain way, or they don't want to go through the legal process, but they're living together in a home or in a house in a house, and there is actually no intimacy, no marriage, no nothing. They're just married on paper. And my advice, I think Linda mentioned, Vito mentioned that we should give advices to how to avoid these. I think that persons say their wedding vows on that day and then they forget them. Our wedding vows, and I went back and I looked them up because I don't know them all out of my head in the way that they are. It says, for better or worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish till death do us part. And if couples take these vows seriously, if they take them seriously, then they'll be able to work through whatever comes their way and be able to make their marriage work without their marriage dying.
Yes, awesome. And like it was mentioned, marriage should be spiritual, and we would have talked about the love triangle before, where there is God at the top, husband and wife at the bottom. So you have to have God in your marriage. That's very, very important. Husband and wife have to be on the same page as it relates to spirituality. So we want to thank our guests, our special guests we have here today, Herb and Melissa Ford from Lima, Ohio, and Casey and Altamarae Elvies here in Freeport, Grand Bahama. And as we conclude our program this evening, we'd like for you to tell our viewing audience how they can connect with you on social media. You can start off, Herb.
Hey guys, I'd love to connect with you. I have a couple of different platforms. We have our Faith Always Works platform, which is every Monday at about 6:00 p.m. We go on and we talk to believers about how to believe God for just about anything that's going on in their life. And then obviously I have a youth ministry platform that if you just Google Herb Ford, you can pull that up and you can connect with me there. But love being with you guys today. Thank you so much. And you guys have to look. If they open up these borders, if they ever open up these borders fully, if you guys put together a Bahamas, was it Blue Lagoon Island, excursion, Atlantis, whatever, it don't have to be upscale. It can be whatever. I just need some conch fritters. Do you understand what I'm talking about? By the brothers, I need some of that. And maybe some red snapper. I mean, whatever, and some what is it? Gumbo, not gumbo punch, some type of
Gombe punch. That's the soda.
I need some of that. Oh, in my life. But anyway, so but
so you'll be down for the retreat. You'll be down for our unique retreat.
If we can get across the border, dear God, I mean, we've had to cancel. We were supposed to go down there for Ricardo's thing, and we had to cancel because the borders, and whatnot. But we want to come down and spend some time with all these wonderful couples and whatnot, and it would just be great to be with you guys.
Awesome. Herb, you didn't mention the book as well. They can find, yes.
I have a book on Amazon.com called The Little Red Bag. It is a book that I wrote for my kids a while ago to help them kind of put some spiritual principles into place. I believe the scripture tells us that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. And one of the things that you can do as a father, as a leader in the household, is be the best dad that you can be for your kids. And that right there moves all the way down to the next generation. But if you're a terrible father, if you don't ever take your kids on vacation, you don't ever bless them, you don't ever do anything great for your wife, okay, you're a horrible dad. Okay, so you need to fix that. But anyway.
All right. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Altamarae Elvies, and also on YouTube, Altamarae Elvies Mind Matters. I started a show, Mind Matters, which talks about, your mindset and how your mindset can lead you to success. All right. So you can check us out. Check me out. Casey, you can reach him, Casey Elvies, on Facebook as well. That's how you can reach us.
Awesome. We are definitely going to make sure that you get to meet all of the couples, Herb, when we have that retreat, and hopefully everything clears up with, just very soon, so that we could actually have something where couples could actually get together physically in the same space, and just kind of like just talk and relax and chill and learn from other couples, because it's the great thing about it is we are all different. We're all unique. We have different experiences. And when we come together and we share like we did today, just so much different experiences, it just makes everything richer, and we could always learn from each other. So thank you guys for coming on and sharing and being with the community. Write your takeaways. Those of you who are watching, go ahead and put your takeaways in the chat. Let us know what stood out for you. Everything. You might not have heard everything, but take away something that you can use to improve your relationship. Go ahead, join us in the Unique Couples Marriage Club. We have our date night. I am celebrating ending this September with couples date night, couples from all around the world joining me, joining us in the marriage club as we have our date night. And then we also have coming up our Sex is Everything webinar. We're talking about just, connecting with your spouse on so many different levels. So that will be October 4th. And that will also be something that we promote and do in our Unique Couples Marriage Club. So the club is the place to be. If you're not a part of the club, that's a small contribution. You join this today, join this September, and you get locked into that low rate before the prices go up. So join today and be a part of that club. We have daily inspiration and spas for couples and things that you do on a daily basis to improve your relationship. We had fun with this Marriage Killers and being with Casey and Altamarae and Herb and Melissa. And we invite you to join us on Wednesday, right? Yes, Unique Couples After Dark. Be a part of that. And then we'll be back here again on Sunday for our Sunday Night Live. We love you guys. And we just want to say we are definitely loving what we do, and we're loving our marriage, and we want you to do the same.
Yes. And we want to thank our sponsors again for the program this evening. We want to thank Shadra at Style Me Pretty, where you can get all of the little girls' hair done. Then we want to thank Doris at Hair to Please. You can get all of your frontals, all your wig, your weave, everything there. Then you can go to Anna at the Nail Lab Creation, where you can go ahead and get your manicure and your pedicure. So we just want to thank our sponsors for sponsoring the program this evening. Here at Unique Couples, we are building stronger couples, healthier marriages, and happier families. We love you all. Have a great evening. Enjoy the rest of the week. See you all Wednesday on Unique Couples After Dark.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
At Wrights Enterprise, our slogan is Dreams on Wheels. Let us customize a trailer to accommodate your business's needs, from clothing and apparel, shoes and accessories, to hair and nails. We are the perfect choice for your mobile business. Contact 646-8464 for more info and follow us on IG at Wrights_Enterprise 242.